Well, hello, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at the Waterhole. My name is Amy, and I will be with you for the show today. And what a wonderful sight it is here at Ahina Pan with a beautiful herd of elephants. Now, remember, everybody, that this is a live and interactive show, so please do make sure that you send through any comments and questions that you may have through to me. And you can do so in a variety of different ways. It can be on the Wild Earth website or the Wild Earth app. Otherwise, you can chat to us in the YouTube chat stream. Just remember to use @FC if you'd like those comments and questions to come directly to me. Or you can join the conversation on X using the hashtag WildEarth. These elephants look like they're enjoying some water today. And I think we'll see a lot less, possibly less elephant action in the eastern half of South Africa this afternoon, just because it is so chilly today. I'm wearing double jackets. I didn't think I'd have to get out two jackets again to wear, but it's a lot cooler at the moment. Quite a cold front coming through South Africa. There's snow in some places. Although it does look quite overcast here in Botswana. I'm not sure of the exact temperature at this location. But nevertheless, the Ellies are here and they are enjoying it. I do see some shadows, so I think it's sort of an overcast maybe day, but not very thick cloud. The sun's still shining. And sometimes those are the hottest days where the UV index is very, very high. And off they go to carry on with their day, this elephant herd. Although it does look so dry here in this area, similar to what we see in South Africa at the moment, just a bit of a different landscape, of course, with there not being much grass in this particular spot. But I'm sure they're going to go find some roots, some dried leaves, whatever really they can find. And I can't wait to see these different locations as the rains come through later on this year, to see these places completely transform. So apparently it is 38 degrees Celsius here where we are looking at the moment. So no wonder these elephants need a drink. That is very warm. It's quite a lot further north than where I am in the low veld at the moment of South Africa, which is basically part of the Greater Kruger National Park, very close to where Djuma is and some of the locations in Olifants West and Timbavati game reserves. I know the heat will come back, but for now we've got a few days of cooler weather, which I'm actually enjoying at the moment. Mercedes, lovely to hear from you. You say greetings, Wild Earth crew and chatters. Happy Friday. Of course, it is a Friday. I'm sure everyone's looking forward to the weekend. And it is wonderful to be on the Waterhole show for the next few days with you all. Hi, Glenn. Thank you so much for your message. I really appreciate it. You enjoyed having me on Juma for the live drives. Me too. I had a fantastic 2 stints there with a small break in between over the last 2 months. So it was really awesome to spend some quality time on the reserve. But I'm really happy to be back behind the microphone and chatting with you all here live at the Waterhole. Such a special show. And I really feel like I connect with all of you viewers and chatters. And it's wonderful. It's a wonderful, wonderful platform to discuss topics as well as just relax and enjoy the sights and sounds of the bush. As these Ellies move off and disappear, let's head up to Kenya and see what's happening at Old Donyo. Well, it's good to be back here. We had some time here yesterday, but we couldn't hang around for too long. So it's wonderful to see all these fringe-eared oryxes, I think is what the plural is. And of course, the eland as well, that looks like a female. You can just see how long her horns are. But these fringe-eared oryx are just, I mean, I love the gemsbok, which is, of course, our local species to Southern Africa. But these fringe-eared oryx so appropriately named. I mean, look at the tips of his little bits of fringe, literally, on the tips of their ears. There are some guinea fowls in the background that are also arriving. It's actually nice to see these animals have a chance during our show to come and drink. In my last time that I did the waterhole show, every day, day after day, we had the elephant bulls really, for lack of a better word, hogging this waterhole. And you would see the oryx and the zebra and the eland try and get in where they could, and the giraffe actually. But I'm hoping that the zebras make an appearance here today. They are such beautiful zebras. Oh, there's a warthog. That's wonderful. It's not too often that I've seen warthog here. They, of course, are here, but we see more of the bigger species around generally, especially when it's busy. Oh, and a rockagama. Look at that. That was the male Kenyan rockagama. Really beautiful turquoise color with a bright orange head that made an appearance there. Oh, it's all happening here at Aldonio today. I definitely think this species of oryx is more sort of a browny beige color. The gemsbok that we see, which is also part of the exact same family, very much the same facial markings, and yeah, almost identical, just small differences that are differences, but the different four different species that get in the world of oryx. And our ones, the gemsboks, seem to be more gray, I would say. Well, the sun is peeping through here as well at Old Donyo, and to me, the bush looks a lot greener, I must say. Even though the grass definitely is very dry, it is the driest season now, waiting for the rains towards the end of the year as well. But definitely, they might have had maybe some dew in the air or light drizzle or something that just brightened up. Looks like some of the thorn trees that are around here. Sarah, yes, absolutely. I did mention that there are 4 different species of oryx in the world, 3 that we can still find in the wild. The basically the 4 different ones are geographically separated. So we've got the Gemsbok, which is in southern Africa, South Africa, and Namibia, mostly, but that's sort of the drier habitats that they adapted to. And then the East African oryx or the fringe-eared oryx, as we did see here around this waterhole, which is the one that has those little fringes, black hairs at the end of its ears. The Arabian oryx, which is of course in Arabia, and then the one is the scimitar. I think that's the correct pronunciation, which used to be found around Egypt area, but it's now gone. Is only found in captivity. It's no longer actually occurring in the wild, which is quite sad, but is true. Apparently, the East African oryx is also known as the besa. Again, I'm not sure of the pronunciation, but the besa oryx. So it seems that the fringe-eared and the East African are actually separate. But I just want to check if the one is a subspecies of the other, because they only classify the oryx into those 4 groups. And just like giraffes, there's always some debate between the different classifications. But to answer your question, Sarah, basically you've got the different species of oryx that are separated geographically, and each one has certain little differences in appearance, but they are still part of the oryx family. Beautiful are these guinea fowls coming here to drink. I think they are such pretty birds. Often don't get enough credit in overlook because they are quite common, but these helmeted guinea fowls with that beautiful blue color on the face, and I mean, just look at that one's helmet. Oh my goodness, that is huge. Alex, absolutely, it is such a stunning scene. Well, it's been wonderful to check in here at Kenya. Let's head over to Tau at Madikwe. Wow, quite a large herd of blue wildebeest here gathering at Tau. We always tend to see them around at this waterhole, but it's nice to see such a large herd. Oh, there are some zebra moving through as well. Maybe they're all going to end up coming for a drink. Can see it's quite windy there today again with those dust waves coming through. I can't help but feel sorry for the animals, I must say, when it's like this, but of course they don't know any better. They just live every day, do what to do, and if they survive through one day, they go on to the next. Oh wow, look at all those waterback as well. You can see that one at the back has extraordinarily wide horns for a waterback. Wow, that is amazing in comparison to these younger boys. His horns go really far apart before they curve up. But waterbacks tend to do that, males associating, forming a bit of a bachelor group. Oh, looking for some water now, not being picky, they're just taking whatever's available to them. Penelope, I'm glad you could make it. I'm sorry to hear about the storm and the power outages where you are, but better late than never. It's good to have you on board with myself and all of the viewers here at Live at the Waterhole. There's even a warthog mixed in there. So you can see that water really is the source of life, especially when it gets to the drier season. There's so many animals that just congregate in these areas. Is that a group of kudu in the background that are also starting to make their way out? No sign of any ellies yet today here. I'm sure they might make an appearance before the end of the show. Let's head back up to Old Daniel. Speaking of elephants, I was hoping they might come here to this waterhole, and here they are. As I was talking about the other animals not getting a chance, I'm glad that they did now that the ellies are here. But not only the elephants, there are also two beautiful giraffes just next to them. And sometimes they do come. If there's only two elephants, I have seen giraffes drinking at the same time. So we shall see what they decide to do. Oh, here comes another elephant. And it's interesting there, those giraffes, just to mention, while they're walking away. The front seems to be a female, the back male. Looking at the ossicones as well as the fact that he's got a bit of a belly button. And I think he might be following her. Look how closely he's just literally following right behind her. That she might be in estrus or coming into estrus or something like that, giving off some sort of a pheromone that he's picking up with the special organ in his sort of the roof of his mouth called the organ of Jacob's. And so he's wanting to associate with her so he can be around at the right time. There's also a zebra coming through now and another giraffe on the left, which could mean that there might be a few males that are picking up on those same chemical signals. And so they're sort of grouping together. But this is why I love this location. Just look now, there's elephants. The zebras are coming out of the woodwork as well. We might get these classic scenes of zebra and elephants all together. What a beautiful giraffe. Oh, there comes another Ellie. Oh, this is just the best. They are just so majestic, aren't they? You can see he's smelling the water. Look at that trunk, how it's pointing forwards. Yeah, Melanie, absolutely a lineup for water. Elephants taking the number one spot just because of their size. Oh, this one's having a good splash. I think those zebras are going to get wet if they're not careful. And yeah, between the elephants now, sort of, there's really too many of them to allow any of the other animals in there. That zebra, I think, took a chance earlier to maybe get a gulp in. Quite brave. Not that the elephants would necessarily seriously hurt another animal. Of course, that's possible. I think it has happened before, especially ones that maybe are in must. Bulls that are quite agitated or easily agitated and become a little bit more aggressive. But for the most part, it's all very relaxed. It's just about, this is quite a small waterhole, and so animals just have to wait their turn. I love a close up of an elephant. It never gets old. The textures, the colors. I always like to say every line tells a story when it comes to an elephant. Oh, the freeze froze there in Kenya, everybody, but we have arrived here at Oldonyo. I mean, at Okakuyo, sorry. We were at Oldonyo. And there's a giraffe. There's also some springbuck, it looks like. And what a beautiful scene it always is here at Okakuyo. It really is quite high on my list of trips that I need to do in the near future to come and see this waterhole for myself. It's always special to see a giraffe drink, especially here at Okakuyo. It's not something that we see all the time. And I always think how far these animals have to travel to get to the water. It makes me always appreciate the sightings that we have here so much more. Little grebe there on the water, small little water bird. But the reflections as well on this water at the moment are perfect, showing that there's not much wind. And just like we saw at Madikwe, sometimes we get really strong winds that blow through this area. And because we are right close to the Tosha area with the giant salt pans, lots of dust around, those winds bring with them almost like mini tornadoes that come through. Sometimes we even see them go over the water. So it is nice to see quite a still day here today. Ollie, it is a normal giraffe. I think it's just because the sun is probably behind it now that or maybe right on top of it, but we're getting a bit of a shadow cast over the side of the body. Also, the distance means that because we're quite far away, you can see the shadows. So the sun would be from the right hand side of the screen and forming a shadow on the left. As it turns, you can see the normal coloration there coming through. So because also we're viewing at a little bit of a distance, the greater markings that are darker in color seem to blend into one, making it look a little bit darker, but it's 100% a normal giraffe, as it were, that it's not a specific black morph or anything like that. Well, this has just been so relaxing. Let's head over to Stony Point and see if we can check in on the goose eggs. Well, there we go, Joanne. I know you were asking about checking in on the eggs here at Stony Point. I can't say if they've hatched or not. I do know from when I saw the nest the last time I did the waterhole, there were quite a few eggs. Of course, there are many things that may prey on the eggs, so I'm not sure exactly how many are underneath this Egyptian goose at the moment. Or if they've hatched, they could also be keeping warm underneath there. And how amazing that we have this nest that we can monitor so closely. Oh, there seems to be a little lizard on the right that's popping out into the sunshine. I think anything and everything out here is just so excited to see the sun and have any warmth available to it. There we go. So there are 2 eggs. I know apparently the lapwing chicks hatched yesterday during the show, if my timing is correct. I remember we heard the birds chirping at the beginning, and then we weren't actually live when it happened, but I think Damcam was able to pick up there at Juma. And it was incredible. I watched the footage, and one of the parents came and actually took the empty eggshell and moved it away, and that chick was up and going immediately. It is incredible to see these precocial chicks when they hatch, and the Egyptian goose chick will be exactly the same. These two, they might not hatch the exact same time. They may in a similar time frame, but it will be amazing to see it happen. So this will be the female Egyptian goose that is on the nest. It is only the female that incubates the eggs, while the male is somewhere around here standing guard, being the protector, to ward off any potential threats. And I'm not sure exactly when the eggs were first seen, but there's about a month incubation period. So I don't know if we have on record when or anyone watching knows when they were first seen, but whenever it was, we have about a 28 to 30 day incubation period. So we should roughly estimate then when these chicks should hatch. I assume by the fact that the camera's staying on the spot, it may be any day now. It's difficult to say exactly which lizard that could be on the right. It's quite blurry to see. It could be a girdled lizard. Looks like a slightly rough skin texture there, but impossible to say for sure. It does seem to have more of a face shape, and maybe something like a skink with almost quite a wide head and a very pointed nose. Lady D, so you want to know about incubation. So it's only the female. So the female sits in the nest, and that is, I did actually check it with my birding app to confirm that, and it is the female only, incubated by the female only, while the male sort of guards the area, is on patrol to protect the female and the eggs. And Riley, they are very protective. Just their nature, they aggressive birds, not only to each other but also to any sort of potential threat. So that male will be very, very protective indeed. So the info given is that the 20th of August these eggs were laid, so we're sitting on exactly a month. So this is very exciting. It could be any moment now that those chicks will come out. It has been cold though, we must remember the cold weather, so incubation time, it is an average, so it could be a day or two more. Okay, let's head back over to the Lowveld and see what's happening at Djuma. Oh, beautiful. The saddleboard stalks are back. That is wonderful to see. It's always nice to know that they are around. And we've been lucky to have them hanging around at the waterholes on Djuma, particularly here at Gari Dam, but also then up towards the northeast. I've seen them at the other waterhole on this property, but it's good to know that they're back here. They are such beautiful birds. This looks to be the male saddleboard stork. You can see that by the fact that it has a dark eye, not a yellow eye. I assume then the female is there on the left. And the lapwing should be around as well, with apparently their 2 chicks. Well, there the one is. I think there may be a chick underneath, possibly both of them. I've been fortunate enough to spend time with lapwings when they've had chicks just like this. Yeah, between its front legs. Oh, how is that? Probably both of them there. And they'll sort of cuddle up to the parent, either the male or females, go inside those feathers, really get nice and warm, especially on a day like today. And then they'll get a burst of energy and they'll run around and then they'll go back for some more warmth. Let's head back over to Tao. Ah, there were some warthogs also finding the green grass here along with the water bucks. Oh wow, look at that warthog's tusks. Those are super impressive. The one that's got its bum to us at the moment, they are really long. I know warthog's tusks can grow quite large, but that individual still has some growing to do. It's a male, got 2 warts, pair of warts on its face. Wow, they are huge. Look how far they stand up on its face. That is very impressive. It's one of the most impressive sets of tusks I've seen on a warthog ever. Debbie, you've asked such an interesting question, and it's one that is often wondered about, how birds know it's time to migrate. So there's a few different factors, Debbie, that can come into consideration. I think one of the biggest factors, though, that affects that decision of when it's time to leave, either to come to its to go back home or to come back to South Africa, I guess or Southern Africa, or wherever they're migrating to. We consider the birds that come here for the summer to have the other countries or area as their home, whereas probably the people who observe them there think of maybe the place that they migrate to as their home. But nevertheless, um, how they know to do it is often to do with the weather, the climate changing. Well, more not really the climate, but the weather. So shortened days is a big influence. Temperature is a big influence. They also seem to be able to sense major shifts in the weather that may be coming. And that is a huge influence on when they leave. So as the days start to get shorter in the northern hemisphere, it means that the days are getting longer in the southern hemisphere, and so it's time to gather and leave in their flocks. Also then the temperature, so they can also sense that, as well as the food availability. So just like depending on where they are as we go into the drier season or season, so food availability may become less, and so then they decide to migrate to where there is warmer climates and more food, more resources. And for those that breed, that's also a big influence on that. So Debbie, that's what I would say would be your major um, influences and how they know they can sense those changes, and then it's time to go. And I've heard similar things in terms of how do, Impala rams know that it's time to go into the rutting season. And apparently it's triggered by the change in day length. So as the days are becoming a certain length, there's less amount of sunshine going into more of the wintertime season. That triggers that they know that it's time for that production of testosterone to increase. I think it's how nature works and has figured out these things. But its day length has a big impact on the animals out here, more so than what we think. And obviously, with that day length comes changes in the weather and changes in temperatures, rainfall. All of those things are linked together. And soon, speaking of migrants, Davy, soon we're going to actually start hearing the migrants calling. And I know here, particularly at Tau, we hear a lot of Dedrick's cuckoos calling often. So I'm looking forward to that. That's one of the greatest things about the the migrants return, that the ones that come to breed call all the time, because this is why they're here. They need to find a mate, and one of the ways to do that is to advertise themselves. And so we hear a lot of them calling, which is wonderful. Let's go back over to Namibia and see what's happening at Okakrio. Oh wow! This is awesome! Some elephants! It's always a treat for me to see Ellies at Okakrio. How wonderful is this? Well, this is just so beautiful. This particular look has a bit of a short look. Just been watching and watching. Maybe just the tip is missing. Might be wrong. Oh no, I'm wrong. Just the angle, maybe because he was contracting his muscles quite a bit. Like it was a little bit short, but definitely still has the tip attached. Penelope, you say it's so dry here while pouring with rain in Salt Rock, KwaZulu-Natal. I know so well a family that stay there. And yes, it is. There's rain in the east coast, snow in the mountains in the Eastern Cape. There's rain supposed to be coming to the low field. Maybe the first hours that we're going to get. Who knows? We'll wait. Right now, I don't believe it's fallen just yet. It's just sort of cold, windy, and gloomy outside here where we are. But it is difficult to imagine the different weather. So if you say you coming to in 20 days, you've had no summer in Ireland whatsoever this year, well, you are definitely coming to the right place, experience some heat, and I hope you have a wonderful time at Aqua. Always in these elephants head deeper into the hole. Looks like 4 bulls at the moment. But if the bulls are here, there's always a good chance that the herds may make an appearance as well. Caroline minds. How they go into the middle, and yeah, sometimes they even roll over, really start to enjoy themselves and have a bit of fun cooling down in the heat. Wasim, absolutely. I'll take an elephant pool party any day of the week. We're just lucky that here live at the waterhole, which is on every day of the week, that we often see elephants pool partying somewhere, even though we probably won't see it happening in the low veld. There are other parts of Africa that are still very hot. Yeah, Penelope, I couldn't agree more with you. Oftentimes I do like to just quiet and actually take in what's happening in front of us as if we're watching it ourselves. There, one of the Ellies has now got down and rolled over. A little bit of a swim happening, which is always wonderful to see. Adam, yes, absolutely. They swim, drink, urinate, they defecate as well in the water. I mean, buffaloes, elephants, even rhino, and luckily that doesn't bother them. Yes, so Adam, even though they do all those things in the waterhole, their stomachs can manage it. Not only the elephants, but all the animals that drink the water still are able to survive, even with those sort of toxins or bacteria levels of nitrogen in the water. And it's also convenient that they have a tank in the water like this that allows them to go under and still breathe quite easily. Are there some impalas now? Or a impala, sorry, one impala ram. You can see by his horns there on top of his head. Elephants enjoying backside to backside here. It's actually quite a cool picture. And surprisingly deep water hole, I must say. No wonder they enjoy coming here. Looks like there's a herd of zebras that are also on their way for a drink. So, Pauline, the rainy season here is not really. It's difficult to classify it as a rainy season as what we would understand, but it is the summer months when rain can occur. So, in the southern hemisphere, that's really from October till March, November to March, more likely. But when it did rain, I think it was December and then February, they had a bit of rain, but it's not. They can, of course, have. There has been occasions where it's flooded. That's once in a blue moon, though. But for the most part, the rain comes for a very short period and goes again. Lady Macbeth, lovely to hear from you. You say Tembe has had a lot of rain this year. Yeah, I think the east coast of South Africa, into northern KwaZulu-Natal, where Tembe is, have had a lot of rain. And we can see that when we were there even yesterday. Although it is a lot less green than it was, it still is quite green in comparison to some of the other places that we see on the Waterhole show. And I think the rains are coming again already, according to those of you that are based in that area. It's already raining again, so shortly we'll see it green up nicely. I wonder what the zebras are waiting for. They were on the way to the waterhole. Maybe they saw the elephants and they didn't feel comfortable to come further forward. I'm not sure. The springbuck are here though, very happy to drink away. Let's head back up to Aldonio. Oh wow, time to share. Some of the elephants moving off now, and a giraffe is coming to drink. Short and sweet, clearly. Sorry about that, everybody, but we've come over to Rosie's pan, which is, oh, it's wonderful to be back here again. There are some elephants, of course, that have come for a drink here. You can see very much the weather that we're having in the area today. Overcast, windy. I don't think it's even as high as 20 degrees Celsius. I think it's 90 day high temperature. And you could see that actually squirting out the water. It's not hot enough to splash that on himself. These look like two younger boys, possibly left the natal herd fairly recently and hanging out together. Or maybe there is a breeding herd quite close by that they're still sort of trailing. And that tends to happen as these boys reach teenage years. Surely they spend more time sort of hanging back following the herd. The females sort of start to push them out. They're not really welcome near the babies anymore, and so the younger males are hanging out there, last to sort of come and drink, often following a herd, and then eventually completely disassociating with that herd entirely. I was climbing, I think maybe to come to the water, but also maybe to follow in the footsteps of the other one. Also not drinking so much, but just that was wasting water, mister. I'm really glad this is deciding to stick around a bit longer. When it is cooler, I mean, there's no real urgency for these elephants to drink, although they would definitely choose to drink water once, even twice a day. When they don't really, they're not really heating up so much. They're not desperate to cool down, like on a really hot day, even like yesterday, it was very warm. can hear the chirp what sounds to be a chin spot batis, and then a southern black tit in the background. Well, we mentioned Tembe earlier. Let's head over there and see what's happening. Well, this is just beautiful as always, isn't it? Sanjeev, lovely to hear from. Thank you for the info about Project Cheetah in India, and you say that after 2 years, it's just waiting for the nod to translocate 20 cheetahs from Kenya as 16 cheetahs from South Africa into, there must be, I'm sure, a project area that is in waiting for them. And how exciting that! I mean, we speak about the meta populate projects in South Africa and diversification is, and translate cheetahs to India, be able to mix. Was saying, be able to mix those genetic speaking Kenyan South Africa pieces will be fantastic. Lovely to see such big elephants with such large tusks here at Tembe. Oh, now they're having a tussle. Wow, this elephant on the right has a really ripped ear. Almost hardly anything left of it. let's head back over to Rosie's pan. And here comes the herd. I was hoping they would maybe be in the area when those two boys around. But here we go. Everyone coming for a drink. It's always a beautiful sighting. I mean, it just never gets old seeing these Eddie spend time here at a waterhole. Yeah, Oriela, it's wonderful to see that there's so much water for the elephants here at Rosie's, and it's one of the pans that they do keep topped up for the elephants. Otherwise, it would have long gone dry. I mean, months ago, because of the way that the reserves work and the management decisions. There are certain pans that are filled with water so that the animals do have water to drink. And you can see these elephants are taking their time, really. They're not, sometimes they have that really excited sort of posture when they're approaching the waterhole, but today they've been very calm, just moving slowly. I don't think they, although we know elephants love water, whether it's hot or cold. I think that the fact that it's quite cool today means they don't have that sort of same level of excitement that we usually see in them. They're not quite as desperate to cool down. So they're all really calm, just going about their business. Some not even choosing to come to the water just yet. Oh, Penelope, that must have been an amazing sighting to see a large herd of buffalo crowding this pan, because it's not a very big pan. So I can imagine some chaos might have ensued with a very large herd of buffalo. I'm not sure exactly what number we're talking there, if it was 100 or hundreds, but buffaloes, we've had an amazingly huge herd hanging out around Juma, which is where we do our live drives from in the mornings and afternoons at Juma. And yeah, I think that herd is well over 700 individuals at the moment, which is just incredible to see. And it can be an amazing sight to see them all around a waterhole. Let's head to Lentor, Kenya. Oh, look at this. Beautiful. There's some superb starlings here for sure. Oh, and I love the sounds as well. And I think those are shillies. Shelly starlings behind, the ones with the darker eye and a more almost purple coat of iridescence than the superb starlings, which also have that, it looks like a white eye at this distance. And there you can see one with a more red eye in the background. How beautiful is this? Absolutely stunning. And the reflections in the water, I mean, a bird's dream. Oh, wow. Yeah, they're definitely two different species. So you've got the superb starling here closest to us, a juvenile there on the left with a more faded color. It's got a bit of a white streak where the iridescence and the rufous colored feathers meet. And then in the background, you can see one with quite a red eye and no white showing between the rufus and the iridescent chest. And I believe that is called a Shelly's starling. Oh, this is awesome. What a perfect way to finish off our waterhole show this afternoon. Well, time has flown today, everyone. I really can't believe that it's come to the end of the waterhole already. But we've had a wonderful time, lots of elephants, quite a few different locations as well, which is always fantastic. And some beautiful birding to end off today as well. Pierre, Pierre, they are. They are absolutely beautiful. They're some of my favorite birds that I don't see in South Africa, and hopefully, I'll be able to see them in real life one day. I see some other smaller birds. I hear some firefinches again. Could be the red-billed quilias that we had yesterday. Alex, it's an absolute pleasure. It has been a wonderful show today. Lovely to chat to all of you. Know that you all are watching. I will be back with you all tomorrow, so that's going to be amazing as well to continue into the weekend with you all. I'm already looking forward to it. But thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Thank you for all of your comments and your questions. And yeah, we get to do it all over again tomorrow. Remember that coming up at 3:30 is the Sunset Safari. So make sure you stay tuned to Wild Earth. I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.